How's day two?
Oh gosh,
What's
day
special
two.
about day two?
Oh, day two. No, not day two. Okay, I'll have day two. So after we were mostly indoors on day one, we got to day two, and it was going to be park day.
So we went over to the Whittier Community Regional Park, and we got there, ahead of schedule, everything's going well.
And we took a really tiny crew. It was semi-guerrilla. It was really mostly guerrilla. And I sat with the truck and fire watched.
And was just working with the talent. It was just Connor, Rebecca, Robert, and myself for crew. Everyone else was over by the cars and keeping small and tiny and out of the frame. Also Ellie. Also Ellie was with us. And it was just Nathan and Sarah.
And so I know nothing what's going on. I'm completely in the dark, eating snacks, watching these teenagers practice driving in the parking lot around me over and over again for hours.
Just a camera and a few bounces, and we were sitting on the side of a lake.
But as we're filming this very tender scene, we have a lot to film that day, and we're filming it. I want to say we're in shot 3, getting our establishings, getting our mid shots, and we're finishing the shot. And Rebecca says, "Hey Marco, there's a van off to our right-hand side. What do you want to do about it?"
One of the park employees pulled up and told us that we had to leave.
I walked over to him and said, "Hey, how's it going today?" It's going well. What you up to? I'm like, "Oh, I'm filming a student project. I'm working on this." He goes, "Oh, okay, yeah. So do you guys do you have a permit for that?" I'm like, No, I don't think we do." And he goes, "Okay, gave me kind of the spiel of you're a student. You probably should have a permit, so forth and so on."
After day one, I was almost taking a nap in the truck while fire watching. It was my first time in about a week to just sit and think and not actively stress over the film, which was really nice.
What school was this from again? Biola? I have a nephew who goes there. And of course, my brain is working at 110 miles an hour. I go, "Oh, okay," smile. Like, what are you gonna do? He thinks for a second. He says, "How long will it take you to clean up and get out?" My brain spits out an answer, 30 minutes. He makes a face. Recalculate, 15 minutes. He nods, says 15 minutes. Gets back into his car and drives away. And I'm just like, "Whew, Rebecca, we have 15 minutes, let's go." So nerves, amped up everything, we got going. Nathan's like, "Do you want me to speed through my lines? How do you want me to go about this?" I'm like, "No, you're calm, collected, let's do the scene." That nervousness translated to him, and so in that, it plays across the nerves that he needed for the scene and really made it special to what we have today. So in a way, it really brought out the quality of the scene.
It was just kind of interesting, that small connection gave us the time we needed to finish the shot.
And then all of a sudden, the crew shows up, sweating, laughing, cheering, high-fiving, panting. And they don't tell me what's going on. Like, they were kind of weird, but then when I heard they got kicked off, all those pleasant emotions went away. Just left the producer in the dark. It was fine. So they weren't able to get everything in for that scene, so we had to reschedule it for the next day. So after we get kicked off the first location, we go to this lookout north of school, about half an hour away. And Marco and I had been there before. We had shot photos up there. But we had never tried to actually shoot. At least I had never tried to actually shoot anything up there.
So we went up, we brought our gear up, we had a generator, we had a couple of lights, just celebs, and the camera.
And then I get this really uneasy feeling like this isn't right, this isn't gonna go well. And I realized what schedule we're on, and we weren't able to get this later in the shoot. Everyone from the neighborhood is up on this hill taking a walk. I knew students who went here before, I had been there before, it was fine. We were gonna do this. What could possibly go wrong? Along the way, we see a rattlesnake going down the path, and about a dozen tarantulas all through the brush.
We get there with the talent, and they're dressed, and it's just Nathan and Sarah.
And I got back down the hill.
"Okay, it's kind of dark. Andy, how's everything going?"
Told him about the wildlife and said, Let's not tell talent. Let's get this done quickly and be out of here.
Got up the hill, and we set up the shot, and we're filming it.
It's gorgeous. The city of Anaheim, all its twinkling lights, fantastic.
I like that.
Actually, let me look at playback. Sarah, what do you think this is the first second? Let me look at playback. Where might be?
About half an hour in, I go down to fire watch in the cars. I leave the set. Rebecca was doing a great job. They were going to be done fairly soon. So I sit in the back of Ellie's car. It's quiet. I can think for a little while. It's peaceful.
We had gotten our first scene done and we were moving to our second, to another area of the hill to shoot the rest of the scene.
I see this movement across the window.
We hear on the radio,
Turn the lights off now. Make the hill go dark. And within moments, all the lights go off. You can't see anything on the hill.
Like, were the lights too bright? Like, did someone from the neighborhood call? Or like...
The police officer steps out. There are some teenagers at the bottom of the hill that he kicks off. He wrangles a second rattlesnake and throws it off the cliff into the brush. And then he turns on a searchlight on his car. And he starts scanning the hill. Passes right by where the crew were. And I start freaking out inside.
Honestly, I had a good time. William and I were just chilling up on the side of the hill. It was significantly stressful enough to give everyone that little bit of adrenaline rush.
We are going to be busted. We're going to be fined. I'm the producer. It's my fault. I should have told Marco no.
we're just there in the dark, quietly, waiting. Okay, what are we gonna do? Andy's on the radio giving us a play-by-play. He was talking more to William, and I think William helped calm him down. Or at least reassure him in some respects that we were doing well. And
I'm in Ellie's car, about 20 feet away from the police officer, hiding behind the front seat, because if he sees me, he's gonna ask questions. And so I'm hiding there, spying on the police, reporting to people on the hill what's going on, feeling like I'm in a movie, not making one. And this goes on for about 35 minutes. And in that time, a second police car shows up. Drives right up next to the first one, and they both start scanning the hill. They step out of their cars and look like they're gonna walk up the hill.
But I feel like, laziness saved the day, like we were just sitting up there and it's like, honestly, if I were down there in the car, I wouldn't walk like half a mile up this hill to see if anyone was there.
And they eventually decide to drive off and go away. So I'm still freaking out. Very much relieved, but freaking out, and get back on the radio with Marco.
And he was talking with Marco, and they're like, yeah, I don't think we should do this. Like, we're gonna get in trouble, and I don't really want to do that. Like, we could film this anywhere. Like, we don't have to do it tonight. We could film some other time. Like, this is not a good idea. And I was there with them. It's like all right, because it's true. We could film the shots anywhere. It didn't have to be at that location. But a little ways up the hill, there was our talent and William and Connor and Emma and Ellie. So go talk to them and kind of tell them yeah, guys, maybe we won't film tonight. But I go up there, the mood is totally different. They're just oh, they're turning around. Oh, they're leaving. Look at them. And they're all a bunch of meerkats. They're leaning up and down, oh, and they're just so excited as the cars are cop cars are pulling away. They're oh, we gotta film it now. We after that, we're in the clear. And everyone's getting so hyped. I'm all right, well, we gotta film this. I want to film it now. and like our talent's down for it. Connor and William and Robert and Emma, like, all right, let's do it. So I come back to Marco, I'm like, hey Marco, like they really want to do this. And he's like, okay. So then we like start getting set up and he's talking with Andy about it.
I, of course, am already thinking, Andy's gonna say nope. So I'm like, okay, let me talk to Andy. Andy, switch over to channel 13. And I shared with him this little nugget of joy. I said, Andy, the crew wants to keep filming. Are we okay to film?
Almost all of me wants to say no, but at the same time, I know we're not going to get this any other time, and we're already up there. And so I say yes. Keep the lights down. Don't shine them at other houses. Be really quick. And they get the shots done in the next 30 minutes, and then we get off that hill. And as soon as Marco gets done with the cards, I say, Marco, get off site with the footage and drive back to school. And we made it out. We never talked to the police. We never got in trouble. We didn't even have to talk to them. We were okay. The shots look gorgeous. And I got a permit for everything else in the shoot. Oh gosh, day 2.
Give you a frame of reference, so you're not over expecting something really cool out of me. We did do hype speeches for Space Phase 2, and basically how it was briefed beforehand is say whatever you want for like 5 minutes. If it makes one person smile, then you're okay.
So far, you're good.
You win.
So far, you're good.
You got everybody. I've already met the quota, hopefully. But yeah, I would just say encouragement to you guys. Great for sticking out last night. You guys all fought really hard, climbed that hill. I would say I've had many conversations with Marco, and he appreciates you guys so much. And I believe he's probably talked to you all individually too. But just keep that in mind. It's really nice having a director who's cognizant of like everything that's going on, and really loves that you guys are here helping him out, and he recognizes that. So yeah, just when you get a chance, give him a big hug and just say you're happy to be here. Same with Andy.
Please, everyone hug Andy.
You could really use a couple hugs.
So if you're gonna pamper me with water, pamper him with pre-made tea and all that good stuff, and make sure
We do have tea this morning in the kitchen.
Woo!
Yes.
And coffee. Who knows who need coffee?
For sure.
Connor, bring us home, dude. Bring us
Yeah,
home.
so just keep an eye on these two, because they're working really hard, and we're going to do as much as we can to help them along this path, but they've chosen a tough journey, and I think it's going to pay off for them in the end. They're going to have an awesome movie to show people and really great memories like the one last night.
Heck yeah.
Probably all remember. Pretty vividly, too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, for that, just like stay encouraged for this next day of the shoot, and do the best of your ability and then some, and yeah, really enjoy the time with the people around you, because it's a unique crew, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Great. Thank you, Connor.
Not that you can read the slate.
Well, can we rack the slate?
Oh, rack?
To be able to read the slate.
It's well, there we go.
Got it.
Yep. All right, here we go. Nathan, scoot in a little bit more to the tree. There we go.
What was your distance? Go to the
Action. Day 3 was pretty fun. We just shot some pickup scenes over at the park that we had missed the prior day.
Yeah, there you go.
And then worked in studio, continuing to get the studio built.
We were finishing the apartment set in Studio A right up to, day 1 of shooting. Finishing painting it, getting furniture, getting everything set and ready to go for week 2 of shooting.
The first week, I was spending a lot of time prepping the apartment and getting that set completely done. And I would get different people from different departments to come help me during those times. And so I don't think I was ever alone for more than like 2 hours. But I was just going through costumes, making sure we had the right costumes for the next day of shooting, and that the apartment, especially initially, was finished, like laying carpet the first shooting day, I think.
I'm painting walls with a makeup brush. I'm very proud of my ingenuity. I'm also very annoyed with whoever lost the actual paintbrush.
I remember the carpet very vividly because we did not have enough. Like really did not have enough. And so our solution was to spend time planning, okay, where can we put the carpet so that we can see it in the shots, but then have no carpet where we're never gonna see. And so our solution for that was to cut around where the bed would be and to cut around where the door would open and not see. There was a lot of just physical construction going on the first week. I remember plastering the seams in the set and the blinds and the carpet. We didn't have carpet under the bed. We didn't have carpet like in the corners of the room. And we just worked around that with the DP to make sure that was never seen.
How is the set looking?
Great, it's going. There's carpet.
There is. Look at that.
Yeah.
We cut that.
But yeah, that was one thing. And then the other big thing that we repurposed was the bed. It was made out of pallets, and that, I don't remember who thought of that, but it was not last minute, but it was okay, we really can't find a bed, we're gonna make this work. And we didn't have a mattress, but we had a foam pad, and so we put the foam pad on top of pallets. But then we thought, oh, that's not very sturdy. So then we nailed the pallets together and put the foam pad on top of that and then put sheets over that, and it worked. And no one could tell. And hanging the TV was a really big issue for a while because it was so heavy. We ended up taking it apart and just hanging part of the TV.
It's gonna just slip through and shatter.
I used a lot of gaff tape on this feature, like a lot. And ever since then, every production design thing I've done, I've carried around my own gaff tape because I really borrowed a lot from Rebecca.
It was not ready for the next day or the next couple days that we needed, so we had a lot of our bodies just working on the set. But something else I should mention is the meetings that happen every night. We don't have many videos or pictures of it because normally we were just too stressed out or too tired to do so. But I remember having a conversation with Andy, Zach, Rebecca, and Emily, where Andy was just writing on the whiteboard, this is next day. This is what's gonna happen that day. Here's the scene numbers for that. How are we gonna rearrange it for art's sake?
Because of the location change, we had scheduled to shoot Elizabeth's house in over 3 days, and we could only get the Stevensons for 2. So we had to rework the schedule to make everything fit in those 2 days, which actually worked out pretty well with actors' schedules and how much time we had.
I never thought in my entire life that I would be in a boardroom meeting discussing film logistics and being stressed out at the same time. It was a beautiful moment, but also a unique picture of an independent film that you need to be willing on a day-to-day basis to reevaluate your schedule and make accommodations if you are on such a tight schedule and budget. So that was quite a unique experience.
Thursday, Friday of that week, we were at the Stevensons' house, and there we got to relax a little bit more, set up base camp. But it was nice to be able to sit at one location for a while after day 2 and day 1 and just kind of make that our home for a couple days.
It was really nice though because I was at the house, living at the house we were filming at for those 2 days we were on location at the house. So that was really nice because that just meant I got to get up and just like take a shower and drink some coffee and just contemplate life. And then, everyone get there and then it's unload the truck, set up art, all this other crazy stuff that would go on that just was like, it would just get crazier and crazier and crazier as the day went.
Wow. He's the cameraman now. Probably the lasagna.
Well,
December next year.
and then our goal is to start festival around April-ish. April.
Oh,
Summer. Okay, cool. Summer. I'm being overdone. Whatever. So it'll be a little bit of time. Hi, camera.
A bunch of different festivals.
Many festivals. Our goal is to do a whole year of festivals.
That's your
Our school will cover $500 of festivals.
Feeding?
Robert Boone.
Very good. It's just we can't see.
Scene 17, Aragorn. Take 1, marker.
Good slate.
Some of the most fun days were when we were with the whole cast and with the family members and everything, because they're just they were so much fun, like such nice people, and like we all just got along so wonderfully. And Sherry and Matthew, that played my parents, are so, and then Brooks, like everyone was just so fun to hang out with on set and off.
Good. How's camera with that? Great. Performance-wise.
Yes. Also, frame.
Oh yeah, it was definitely really fun meeting the family, and that was also nice too because we'd had a chance to spend time, all the actors together, and spend time and get to know each other on a personal level, and so then just sort of throwing that away and coming up with different ideas and playing with everything was a lot of fun, and we were able to find some really great moments in that just because we knew each other so well. And yeah, so some of those beginning scenes and some of those moments are a lot of fun. They were a really good time to have.
Charles, you want a drink?
Water would be great.
Sure.
Yes. Sure.
Let's reset. Matthew, come on in. You're fine. No, not for this shot. It was Matthew. We were in the middle of setting up a take. We got the shot set up. Matthew needs to walk into the frame. We were getting the Thanksgiving dinner scene set, and he's supposed to enter the scene. And we're just there, and like, okay, everyone, Andy calls quiet on set. We're ready. Action.
Can you get the door, please, Charles? No problem. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Now needs to start. Great. We'll take a few moments, make sure we get the door.
Anybody do that?
Andy?
Oh, we can't open that door.
Yes.
Maybe like that.
Looks really good.
It looked like something of a challenge for the actors to switch from a slightly more lighthearted, meet the parents kind of dinner feel. There was certainly a bit of tension in that scene, but overall it was a more relaxed, lighthearted kind of feel. And then to switch to such a tense, difficult, confrontational scene, I thought the actors handled it very well.
We shot the Thanksgiving family dinner scene. And this was the first time that I was really tested with facing my own struggles as the writer and the director with such a very near and dear scene that relates too close sometimes to real life. Having the father of someone who you are deeply in love with tell you get out of their life in such a very visceral way is demoralizing.
Yeah, and rage is so unique, especially in a family, it's so disturbing. It really is traumatizing, and family just doesn't know quite how to handle it. Everybody kind of freezes, and the one who's the victim of it, it's just the worst thing in the world, and for Charles to come into a Thanksgiving dinner, with his new family. It would destroy you. Unfortunately, I had to experience some of that in my own, my mom's side of the family. And it's 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 just unfathomable that people could act that way in a family. But it probably happens much more than we think. These are untold stories. Families don't talk about this sort of thing.
I remember setting up for that shot, and I hid behind the wall, and I was with William. And it's the first time William and I began bonding on day 4. And I remember just starting to weep.
Let's go. She's not going. Elizabeth, you're staying.
Honey, we'll do whatever's best for you.
Dad, can we just calm down for a second?
Every take, every time he would say, "Get out," my heart broke. It was just such a moment of where I've been, the pain that's associated with a broken relationship. It was a hard, hard night. Beautiful scene, but hard night. Does anyone need to get any water, anything else? Okay, please, let's turn the fan on, let's get that going.
Can you put enchiladas in the oven?
We'll reset in just a second.
Yes.
Stretch. Yeah, Dane knows what's up. Like, our wonderful Mr. Stevenson.
Some hilarity, Rebecca playing with the Steadicam, showing off how steady it was. Pretty fun.
Look at that. No hands. No hands. All on the hips.
Because it's perfectly balanced.
Oh, that was me. That was me. Perfectly balancing that. Just gotta say it. First AC.
My feet hurt so bad that first week. It was just like everyone's feet are hurting, and you know that you're not the only one, but at the same time, you're like, does everyone's feet feel like they're walking on knives right now? Because that's, you're sitting there like, this is not right, but you just have to keep going. And so I feel like the challenge was mostly just like physical, like, I was just tired, my feet hurt, like, it was just constant, like, go, 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 go. There was always something else to do.
There's this one scene that was supposed to actually be a night scene, but we had this beautiful, like, extended golden hour because of the forest fires in California. So we ended up shooting it while the sun was still up. So we had to kind of like go through the shots as fast as possible because the light was like fading, and we ended up doing it all pretty much on the Steadicam. So I'd be moving with the actors, and then we'd do another one. I'd be moving with the actors, and so William had to like keep pulling on the bar tech.
Okay, we're gonna grab our shots and then we're done for that.
Okay, so we get dialogue shots?
Let's go dialogue shots. Dialogue shots.
You have 26 minutes.
Marco.
And then as we were going, like the actors would move and I'd be like, you know what? I don't quite like this frame. I want to move with them this way. And there's certain things with the Steadicam where it's just kind of intuitive, where you just like move. And I hadn't really given William like a heads up before we did some of these scenes that, hey, I'm going to be moving closer. I'm going to be framing them this way. When they do this, I'm going to tilt down to their hands. So I started doing all these things that we hadn't planned out before. And he was like pulling with me, like it was sharp. And I remember like doing all this crazy stuff. And in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, I never told William. But he was just going with me.
We had finished and everyone was going home, and we were striking set, and the Stevensons had offered for us to use their pool. And so they were like, you know what, let's just jump in the pool. So a bunch of people jump in the pool, and then Andy and I and a few others were there standing, and like, Andy, jump in the pool.
I was in jeans and tired and didn't want to swim. But I was so emotionally done with the week and was just, whatever. We're making a movie. We already got through this much. Why not? And it was probably my favorite experience from that first week.
That's so good. Oh, yeah. I love
Jeans and all. Just letting it all go that one night with everyone, I think is when we really became a team together. More than a team. In a lot of ways, it was very family-like on set. The way we were able to trust each other and have fun together and laugh and cry together really came to a climax that night.
Andy was the definitely the voice of reason, but also like just no nonsense, but tried to have fun sometimes. Like he would try, but you know, he's all stressed because he would get, you know, there would be us having fun, us on crew, we would just be like, oh yay, and we'd be doing our jobs, but we would be having fun while we were doing our jobs. And then Andy would see us and he'd be like, start working, and we're like, we are working, we're just having a good time. So, you know, there was a learning curve where he finally figured out that even if we're joking and laughing and, you know, like dancing around, we're still working. So, you know, it was just, but he did a good job. It was really impressive to see him like be able to handle that, considering that, you know, like he hasn't really done anything on that scale before, but to see him really step up to the plate and like be able to handle a schedule for a feature film and budgeting and everything.
Good slate.
And camera's set.
I believe we also shot the next day on father-daughter scene with Elizabeth and Dane.
Action. Can I come in? Can we reset?
Yeah, we have Andy. I just realized. Andy, you should fly out this way. We
Okay.
cut her.
Do you really want to go through with this? Are you sure?
Yes. I know Charles isn't perfect, but how he treats me is exactly the sort of man I want in my life. Promise.
Well, we better get you going. We don't want to be late to your own wedding.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
It was just such a sweet and tender scene, so it was nice to see Matthew play a character who I could see as a human being and not just this monster who was yelling at Charles. So it was great to see character depth.
All right, let's go quiet on set.
Chicken, 3-4, oh, 2-8.
A boom rest, I can sneak into the room. And Marco is Marco. Robert is here
Marco.
outside.
I'm Marco, guys.
You're the director
Action.
now.
Meeting.
Speedeth.
15 Bilbo, take 2, marker.
Good slate.
Great with that shirt. They really stand out against it.
They smell so good.
I know, right? Sometimes
Oh
you get
my God.
roses and it's so disappointing because they like don't smell.
Yeah?
Alright, camera set.
Action! Be home by 11.
Okay.
Where are we going? On an adventure? You game? Well, let's go.
one.
That's it.
That was the one. Let's do that. One.
Great job, guys.
That's the next scene.
And Marco and I had talked about the story before, and I knew how emotional this was going to be for him. Just the weight of the story and what this scene was.
Was probably one of the most challenging for both of us, I'd say. There's like an intense dinner scene, and it was really fun though. But like Nathan and I kind of went outside to like work on it, just us two beforehand, because we were both prepping for that, and it was most challenging, but then the most like relieving when it was done.
Prior to that scene, I told Andy I needed some space, and I stepped aside for, I don't know, felt like an hour, probably was closer towards 15, 20 minutes.
So I send Marco to go take some time, and I pull all the crew together. And Rebecca and I together kind of pep talk the crew a little bit, kind of explain what was going on. We needed to keep the atmosphere on set respectful and a little more subdued. And Rebecca and I kind of understood that we were going to have to help lead through these tougher scenes.
And I remember sitting down on the curb, called my dad, and I asked for prayer because this is going to be a hard scene, and I remember weeping. I remember the pain of losing someone you love. And I had to bring that to this scene. I committed myself mentally to look for a performance that I would believe of someone going through that kind of a pain. That would not settle for anything less. And we shot the scene.
It's like
Elizabeth. Why didn't you tell me?
my mom when I found out last week.
Marco had his monitor over with William, about 20 feet off to the side. And Rebecca and I were the only ones really there with talent in the moment. While this was going on and Marco and Rebecca and the talent were really in that headspace, I had to be the one responsible for keeping everything running and not letting myself into that emotional space so I could address concerns about location. We were getting complaints from neighbors for lights and noise I had to take care of.
Baby, school was your parents' plan for you. We can start our own family.
I'm not sure I want to have my own family. I don't want to lose the family I have.
You heard your father. He blames me. He won't accept me. And he's acting like you're some sort of possession, but you're not. You're my wife.
I think the biggest struggle that night, which is a question you always have as an AD, is knowing how much time to give to the director and the talent to get in the headspace they need to be in to do their best work, and also keep us on time, keep location happy, keep neighbors happy, keep things organized and well run, and keeping the atmosphere on set conducive to that scene. Because most of the time we had a lot of fun on set, joking around, laughing, having fun. We had a really great team, but for some of those scenes, we really needed to really hone in on what was going on screen. And I was really impressed with how the crew came together that night. Everyone was super attuned to what was going on, did their jobs super well. And it was a really hard night emotionally for Marco, for William, for the talent. I think my hardest job that night was being emotionally involved to where I could understand what was going on, but still be removed from everything so I could keep things running and know when we needed to move on to the next shot or when I needed to give everyone a 5-minute break. so they could take some time and regroup emotionally for the next shot.
And I don't even know how many tissue boxes I went through.
But he is my father! They are my parents! I need time!
And at the end of filming Elizabeth or Sarah's part for that night, I was so overwhelmed with love for her performance, but also pain. I walked over to her and said, Sarah, great job. That's it. And she was still in the headspace, and she's like, are you sure? And she looked at me with the eyes of someone who's going through so much pain, obviously emoting still for the character. I'm like, yes, that we got what we needed. And I just hugged her and held on to her. And it was the first time really that I had bonded with my cast in this way where they knew my story. They knew the pain I had gone through. They knew why I was making this film. But they also were portraying it in such a beautiful way that was genuine and sincere. And it really warmed my heart, but also broke it. And we finished night 5 and moved on to day 6, which was a little better. And dare I say, one of the best forced cameos of the film. Taking a breather. Now, cut.